So then it raises a question, what can ordinary citizens do to actually monitor use of the revenues? And for example, a government borrows a loan against the promise that they would repay based on the tax revenues. What are the practical ways that ordinary citizens can actually monitor the use of revenues and therefore have a reason to pay taxes to repay the loan in future?
So there are many entities across the world that are pushing for transparency in data. Unfortunately, transparency in debt agreements has not yet come to fruition. So there is a need for citizens across the world to ask that debt agreements be made clearly public and that all countries and their citizens get the right to access it, whether these are public debts or private debts. I would say at the most basic level, write to your member of parliament. And I don't think it's a small thing. We have what we call Twitter warriors. I think it's important that social media raises the issue. And I've noticed that when it happens on social media in some countries in the world, it does trigger serious conversations. But we also need these to be conversations in schools. We need these to be conversations in universities. Why are we not talking about the fact that we have a wonderful history globally of public universities, which are publicly funded by taxpayer money, for example? But when it comes to debt agreements, sometimes even these are compromised, and sometimes conditionalities are to semi-privatize universities. Now, this is the fabric of the country. Getting a well-educated population means better leaders, means better workers, means better quality of life, means a better, well-rounded human being as well. And I think that no matter what, certain things also have to be protected. So when you're having conversations about debt, you must at the same time also have a conversation about why the public education system must be kept robust. You have to tie it with a conversation on why your hospitals and clinics must have medicine. And this conversation with debt becomes very important. So what I see is the trends, and that's part of the work I do. So you'll see a debt agreement signed up, and then suddenly you will see a huge amount of money floating in that country. But you may be feeling happy because suddenly more people are buying the goods you're selling, or you're getting more work if you're a casual laborer, more construction is going on. But the big question you should ask yourself, even as you get more work and more employment and more profit, is where's the money coming from? And has it been spent legitimately? And these are questions I don't see business people or employees asking themselves. So we'll have more people, I don't know, doing catered parties, for example. But was that a catered party paid for by government money, and was it legitimate? And the thing is, you may have the party and have the great time and the money's finished, but that money may have been intended to buy, I don't know, HIV vaccines, HIV medication. It may have been intended to do research in some kind of new disease in the country. And I think making these connections is something that is becoming more and more important. And I think that is why also my mandate becomes so exciting, because it's not just about debt and international financial obligations. It's also about debt, international financial obligations, and its connection to human rights. So it's also about how are we spending it, but then how are we collecting it? And how are we making sure that the individual human being right at the bottom, the most vulnerable one, benefits and is a little bit less vulnerable through that process. And I think we have to become reflective as humanity in making those decisions when we make them.